Brownlee Real Estate, TBRE podcast. Take it away today. Got Kristen Marion here, wife and partner. Go for it. Let's get straight into the juicy stuff. All the excitement with the media. Let's go.
Well, let's start with the question on everybody's lips is, how's the budget affecting your sales, Tate Brownlee?
Look, I sent a good message to my friend and the guy at ARIC this year at the conference, Tom Panos, and I just said, things are tough. Budget's hit. Inflation's hit. Rates have hit. Petrol prices have hit. All the fun stuff. It is what it is. We can't change it. We just got to work through it. And I think looking for the angles, like what are the angles now? We've gone back to a lot of the skills and learnings that we learnt. You and I were both there in the GFC, the global financial crisis. So we're applying those techniques. Last week we sold 3 properties. Start of the week we sold another couple. And then last night at auction, another 3 out of 5. So we've really adapted and changed quickly. And that's what you need to do in a changing market. Really proud of the auction team last night. They did as well as I've ever seen any auction ever run. I was so proud of Dave, Talia's, Casey's, the rookies, the young guys coming through, the administrative team, Morgan, Talia, just leading by example, closing contracts, registering buyers. Even as paddles were flying, we had last-minute registration. There was so much excitement, electricity. Venue was packed. We had people standing.
I was actually shocked at how many people were there, because if you listen to, let's say, New South Wales as a whole, auction results are down. Our auction results seem to be very consistent.
We bring the energy, right? And it leads from the front. It leads from the team. We really ramped it up at our sales meeting that morning, talking to the team. I always tell them how proud of them I am prior to going into battle for auction, because auctions are always a battle. You're always trying to bridge that gap between the buyer and the seller. Doesn't matter what market. In a higher market, sellers' expectations are higher. In a more of a buyer's market or a market that's shifting like we're in at the moment, then obviously there's a bit of toing and froing between both sides of the camp, right? It is what it is. And we saw that last night. But at the end of the day, we got the cookies. Those sellers got the outcome they wanted. 3 of them got done. Now, how good's that?
And the purchasers were quite relieved to have something too. It worked in everybody's favour last night, and the energy was really good on both sides of the fence, I thought. They're excited to buy. People were excited to sell. So I thought it was really good.
We got the stories. We got the conviction. A good example, I threw that story up about Terranor Road last auction. That buyer had an opportunity to potentially buy it at $2 million on the night. We had argy-bargy. They wanted to throw conditions in after outside of auction and all the rest of it. And I said, hey, guys, there's 4 of you registered tonight. You've all got paddles. We can do this the easy way, or with respect, you can make it harder, where you don't know where the bids and activities coming in outside of auction. It's exactly what happened. Property sold for 2.2. What was it? A couple of weeks later, just before auction, at cash contract. So, I think the smart buyers were in the room last night. They understood the opportunity that they had, and they took advantage of that and got the opportunity on the night, got a fair and good playing field for both parties so they could see where the activity was, and were able to buy it nice and easily on the night rather than having to go through that guessing game. Is there other buyers? Am I competing? What am I competing with? No one knows. So I think it was really transparent for everyone on the night.
Transparency is, I think, the key. And do you think that post-auction now, when's our next auction?
Next auction's only in a couple of weeks. We're pretty aggressive, and then I think off memory that brings us to the end of the month, and then we got another one, and then we got an on-site auction up the coast as well. So it's all happening for TBRE, and I think what excites me, right, is we had over half a dozen cash buyers last night, up to just over $3 million that were registered on the night, right? How many agents right now don't even have buyers, and we had cash buyers that missed out. So if you're thinking of selling right now, we've got the buyers. We've got the box of chockies already to give an absolute edge to anyone coming to the market. And how are you seeing it in the property management space? I know that's been a changing market, and in fact, I personally think it's probably been the most challenging market that we've seen in 23 years since we opened the business 18 years ago. I've been in 23. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, what I've seen in January, February, March was an easy market for us. Like January, February, we were listing and leasing within the week.
Wow. And what even at 2,700, 3,000 a week?
Anything, yep.
Fair income.
Anything had that inquiry. I think once, the overseas, the war started and there was a bit of uncertainty, anything over 1,100 sat.
For how long?
Well, when I look back now, if our average days on market was about 3 to 5, it went up to about 14.
Yeah.
And some of them were 21, which is unusual for our area. So I think that the uncertainty, people stop. And it wasn't because rental prices or rents have changed. It's because removalists chucked more on their fee, cleaners chucked more on their fee, the petrol going to and from. So it doesn't just affect...
Do the government chuck a bit more on that fee too?
Everyone chucks a fee on. Tax it, fee it, whatever you want to do. But the thing is, nothing actually changed other than petrol prices realistically in that time.
Yeah.
People just stopped. And so 2 weeks went by and then we see the inquiry come back in. People were just like, oh, okay, it's going to be like this. We'll just, keep on keeping on. And then the inquiry did come back in. And I haven't reduced a lot of my prices that were online. Like people that were online, I didn't really reduce them too much if I had to at all. What I did do is when we were going out on appointments, we were adjusting from the get-go. So we were just basically saying, hey, we were listing leasing 2 weeks ago and now we're listing to be competitive.
Because all I see is I see just lease boards everywhere, like you're leasing everything.
Yeah, because we're listing to lease. We're listing, to be competitive. Where before you just lease, bit of cream on top, whatever. But now you've got the properties that are anything over $1,000 a week presents well, they look good, they're stylish, so they're leasing straight away. It's the properties probably that lack a bit of maintenance or a bit of work or, slightly untidy where maybe the landlords don't see value in presenting it well, even after a tenancy. They're the ones that are sitting a little bit on the market. If people are going to pay in our area anything over 1,200, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
And they just want to, exactly like in your sales, often the places that properties that sell, they can move straight into. They don't have to do too much.
So let's talk a little bit about your players. You've got 2 players there that are absolute weapons in the industry. I've never seen anything quite like it. As you know, I work pretty closely with, one of the OGs, Sandy. She was my support and my rock for many years and wrote over 100 sales a year with me. So real absolute machine. Tell us, she's jumped over to leasing. Tell us a bit about her, where she comes from and why she's so good.
Yep. Well, Sandy's, started in real estate at a mature age, right? She wasn't young when she come into real estate, but I tell you what, she adapted really quickly, working beside you, doing all your buyer management. This is the difference with us. When you list with us, you've got basically a trained buyer manager that's used to dealing with buyers on a regular basis. So you've got a leasing agent now that just doesn't sit there and wait for inquiry to come in. She's basically on the phones calling them, and then one person, it's like a sale, one person can purchase, one person can lease it. So what happens to all those other people that put in applications? Often in other agencies, they just sit there or they disappear after a certain period of time.
Yeah, right. Where do they go?
Well, Sandy calls them and says, but we've got this other property coming up, but we've got this other property. And she is so good at using our database to make it work.
She's a master connector, right?
Master connector and
love it.
Understanding what people want. And then even months later, I've seen her call people months later and say, have you found somewhere yet? And they're like, no. She's like, great, I've got something for you. That's a real sales agency sort of run leasing.
Yeah, and she's a bit quirky too. She brings a good energy into the office.
She's a larrikin.
She
Absolute
is.
larrikin.
True blue
People
Aussie, that one.
Yeah. And she's got the connections now with Northern New South Wales Health and all the companies that actually want to take leases from us. Yeah. So, yeah, it's good. And then you've got Courts. Courtney's been with us 18 years on and off. She's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
You've seen her journey. I mean, you've basically got a sales agent as a BDO and a buyer manager as a leasing agent.
That's a powerhouse.
Our team is like strong. They're strong. They're really strong.
So what you're saying is I train them.
Yes, I am actually. Actually, yes, because that is a major difference in having that sales experience background, which basically what BDO and leasing is.
It is.
And they sit with the sales team.
Yeah.
I think, and they're involved in the sales meetings, and I just think that it's grown from property management being the solo property manager to having these two powerhouses beside them. Now my property managers can be concierge.
And credit's due too. Like, you're probably number one in the whole industry now. I don't know anyone else with your experience and definitely your advice. And obviously you've taken both of these amazing human beings to a whole new level too with their careers, which is a credit to you. Tell us a little bit about the industry as a whole. You got Eric coming up. You know, you're now a mentor, a coach, you know, and someone that the whole industry does look up to. You had someone reach out to you the other day to talk to you about how you use remote professionals in the property management space. So, you know, a leader within the industry. Tell us a bit about your journey.
Well, really quickly, it's sort of 18 years in the making, I guess. You do lose a lot of people in the first year or two to the industry, and I really want to change that and show them that, you know, you can learn things at a pace where you can stay in an industry and actually make a really good career out of it. But really briefly, it's, you know, I think when I first started, the property managers did everything from A to Z, including inspections, including leasing, and, you know, especially if you're in those agencies that aren't big enough to have all the different divisions. And that's changed. That's changed so much now with remote professional support. It's changed so much with the way now property managers are more advisory than they are managing properties, because a lot of it's automated.
Like consultants
Or concierges, like, this is your advice, this is where your investment property's at. And as you know, our team go above and beyond. Like, they know the lingo for insurances, they know what to say, what not to say. They know everything from, you know, how to structure bills and payments and just all the little nitty-gritty things, and then advising on, hey, you know, your rental increases. Don't forget you've got a forecast for the next 12 months now, you know, can only do it once every 12 months. Leases are still important. People probably, fixed-term leases are still important, I feel.
But also too, you got world-class property managers too.
100%.
Like, very well trained.
Very well trained, longevity in the team as well, like they've been there for a while.
Yeah.
And everybody understands they've got a career path in our office. So
you've probably got over
great.
20 years of experience, no, probably 30 years of experience or something like that, just in the property management team.
Very mature heads on their shoulders.
And then you have a routines officer process as well, so that the property managers can make sure they're providing really good service to the landlords as well.
Well,
Tell us about that.
You don't want your property managers out 5 hours of the day.
And why not?
Because at the end of the day, there's so much ad hoc stuff in property management, you know, a burst pipe, a, you know, broken down hot water system. There's so much, as well as your normal stuff, lease renewals. There's so much deadlines and timing. If your property managers are out most of that time,
they can't do their job.
They've got no way to react quickly, and everybody's expectation on property managers is like Uber Eats. Like, it's got to be there and it's got to be turned around, and it has to be done quickly. And the best way to do that is have your PMs in-house. They are expected to go to owner appointments. They are expected to go to their entries and exits so they can view it with their own eyes. Yeah. However, there's no point in them spending time editing writing out a inspection. 360 camera technology, you can do things in half the time. Scans the whole property, things like that. Yeah,
the technology is incredible now too. Like, it's certainly cutting edge. And you know, what would you say to someone looking at potentially a career in property management? What would you
My advice to somebody starting in property management is start on inspections, move in to understand maintenance, work beside a senior property manager and a mentor, and learn it slowly. Don't think that you have to learn everything all at once. Like, get things under wraps and do it slow. You'll have a long career if you do it like that.
Great to have someone that's an absolute expert in the industry. And let's wrap it up. At Tate Brownlee Real Estate, we open the doors to your future.
We do.